guys, I'm Rachel O'Leary, and one of the unexpected consequences of this whole pandemic is that a lot of events are being canceled. So this morning I had to go pick up some fish that were intended to go to an event that couldn't make it to the event, as they really had nowhere to go. And we did exercise extreme caution. The fish were placed into buckets in a garage. I walked up to the garage, Lysoled off the handles of the buckets, and then brought the fish home. Not ideal, but something had to happen with the fish. So I brought home a few species, and I had to set up some quick quarantine tanks, as I don't actually have any open tanks right now. These are just 10 gallons. I threw some internal filters on. I heat the room down here, so the temperature is fine. And then I threw in some cycled media from the big boys tank in order to jumpstart the cycle. And I'll also put a small piece of poly filter in here to adsorb or absorb any ammonia should it develop in these new setups. I don't anticipate any problems. My big boys poop Lincoln logs, but to be on the safe side, I'll do that. Now, I do know that one of the groups of fish is not looking super hot, but the other two groups look great, so we're going to go ahead and get them into the tanks and take a look. So in this aquarium are Danio choprae, or glow light Danios, and ember tetras. Both are fish I particularly like, so I'm not at all sad to have had to take on these fish. They'll be in this quarantine tank for a month before I move them into displays, and actually the choprae are perfect for tubbing, so this is kind of fortunate. All these fish look really good, if a little thin, which is normal. Over here we have some blue eye rainbows. These appear to be Gertrude, but they also appear to have some sort of an infection. I'm not entirely sure what. Most of them look okay. A few you can see that their tail fin has some issues. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do about that yet. See, that one there isn't looking good. So because of that, I put the two healthy groups of fish together into here to quarantine, and the one group that I'm not positive about in that tank to quarantine. And I will make sure I use all separate equipment. I'll make sure to wash and dry my hands in between working in these aquariums. And, you know, I will just observe and medicate as needed. I am putting a small piece of poly filter in each aquarium. This is a chemical media that will absorb out impurities, so if I do need to treat these guys, I'll have to remove it. But for now, in these first days, it'll just act as a signifier for me for any development of ammonia to let me know if I need to do a water change before the fish are impacted. I'm sure it's pretty obvious why I took these tanks out of rotation. They're old, they're scuffed up, they're beat up. Recently I gave away about 50 tanks to anyone who wanted to show up to get them, so this is what I had available, and I kept these for just this purpose. The tanks that you don't want to have on display are great in a pinch for quarantine, and these will be very bare setups during this month, especially these first 2 weeks, so that I can get a good idea of the fish's health, if they're eating, all that kind of stuff. We're going to go ahead and feed them here in a minute and see how they're doing. Another issue down here in the fish room is that, you guys know, I just got this looking a bit better, and I came down here 2 days ago and the Ultim Titan 1 light fixture was dead, and I also got rid of all my old lights, so I just have a little clip grow lamp for now, which is completely insufficient. But with the current state of things out in the world, it's the best I can do. I do have an email into Ultim. I have not heard back from them as of yet, but I know everything's kind of crazy now, so give them some time. But I'm hoping that they can send me a new power supply so that I can put the light back up. My editor is hard at work. Pepper Elizabeth, why aren't you editing? Pepper, what are you doing? You sleeping on the job? But I spent yesterday cleaning up down here. Everything's doing pretty well. You know, so far so good. Just gotta, I feel pretty fortunate that we have or I have the fish room to keep me occupied when I have to stay home.